Hey everybody, this is Jeff. I'm going to go through a quick search demonstration for you all. Hopefully it'll be something similar to what you'll see down the road. But before I get started, I do want to just quickly remind everyone and just to show that uh, we're here to help you. You can easily get in touch with us. Let me just resize my screen so you can see everything that I can see here. Um, so if you go to the libraries page and scroll down, you can always get in touch with us through the schedule a research consultation link. And then you can come out and pick a date that works for you, and you can see the times that are available to meet with someone. When you select the time, you can keep go. You can it'll bring up a form. Let me just emphasize again that this form is super important. The more information you can give, the more of a jump start we'll get on preparing to meet with you. So give us, a good bit of information here for us to be able to meet with you. All right. So today I'm going to be looking at this research question: equity issues of curriculum instruction when teaching virtually. So it's something that is pretty current with everyone having just come off of working online. Some of you, your program is fully online, so pretty relevant topic. Now, what we're going to be looking at is when I first start out, what I normally like to do is to create a term table. So what I'll do is take my research question and then translate it into topics within my question. So here I'm taking out the idea of equity issues, curriculum and instruction, and teaching virtually. Now, during class time, you may talk about these things, and you can borrow language from your class, from any readings that you might do, and you can place them in the appropriate column, or it might give you an idea of something that you want to add. A lot of times, we do have one common line that of research is to have a population. So if there's a certain population of, like this is higher education, for example, or you're looking at middle school or something like that, then that's a really common one that you'll have. But what I'm trying to say here is that you need to think topically, and you are welcome to brainstorm or take from your readings to fill out this table. And what this is going to do is going to prepare you in advance for your search and what different ways that you can approach your topic. So I'll just demonstrate. What I would like to do is take one of these ideas and search them. So let's go in, and I'll just go in and start with it. So I'm going to start with teaching virtually, and so I'm on Galileo's homepage. Just maybe it would be helpful if I start over. So if you're on the library's website, gcsu.edu/library, of course, this is wide open. You don't need any kind of password or anything. You're going to want to come down and click into Galileo. Now you can see where it says Open Athens. That means it is authenticating that I should have access to this. Now I have already signed in, so I'm going straight through. For you, when you do it the first time, even the first time that day, you're not going to be able to get straight in. So you're going to be prompted for your Unify password. And so just your GCSU email and your password. And that should be all you need. If you ever by chance get prompted for an actual like Galileo password, it happened to me today with one of the databases, then there's a simple way to always look up what the password is. You're going to go to the library's homepage if it agrees to load. And from the library's homepage, you're going to scroll down and you just want to click here, and it's going to, I know it seems strange, but just click here on the search, and this takes you into what's called the catalog. While I'm here, I'll just point out that this is the place that you would go to look at our print collection. You may not have access to it though where you are. You can also view the print collection of other libraries as well that you might be closer to, and you do have access to those with your, even with just your Bobcat account. But what we're going to do today is just go to sign in. I'm going to sign in, faculty and staff link, prompts you for your Unify password, and then click on your name, My Library account, and then you'll see that you just click here and it will show you what the Galileo password is, and you can always get that password there to get access to Galileo, and it's up to date, so that's a good thing. All right, so let's go back. We're here, and remember we're entering in our first topic within our term table. So I am going to go with teaching virtually. That's really I see it as the core idea here. It's the thing that is really going to help define the other columns. So it's not just curriculum and instruction, it's curriculum and instruction when teaching virtually. It's not just equity issues, it's equity issues as it relates to teaching virtually. So it's kind of the linchpin. So I'm going to search it. Now, when you first come to the results page, it's real easy to jump right in and want to find an item, like an actual article or something like that. And we're going to talk about this more later, but if you do happen to see something right away that you want to check out, you can drop it in this folder right here. This is connected to your, should be connected to your, when you sign in with Unify, it should sign you in to Galileo as well. But at least for your session that you are in, that folder will stay active, and you can email the article from there if need be. But the real reason that we're here is to look and see what terminology might be better. What is it that could maybe broaden our search or narrow our search? And the way that I normally would do that is look through the title and see what language is being used or terminology to talk about the topic. And then I also look through the subject line right here. And so right now I'm just looking for, how can I better get at the idea of teaching virtually? So my assessment right now would be that I don't have great terminology. Maybe there is something better. So I'm interested in this one, number 13. It says teaching online. So I would go over and just add that. Well, maybe teaching online might give me better results. And so I'm just going to go back up to the top and do a new search for teaching online to see how different are my results. Now, one thing to note about Galileo, what this is doing right now is searching for teaching and online separately as two different keywords. It's not treating it as a phrase. It's not searching for it together right now. And that would be our next step. If, as we go through and review this, if we see that this really is the way to do it, this is a great term, then we can push it towards searching it together as a phrase. I also see this one, web-based instruction. That's another one that I would like to add to my. Now we know, since we borrowed this directly from the subject list, which is here, that we can probably treat this as a phrase. So let me just show you. I'm looking through it, and pretty overwhelmingly it's been used consistently as teaching online. So we can feel pretty good about that. And so let's just look and see what happens when we treat it as a phrase. So if we go up and put it in double quotes, then you'll notice right now we're at 2.6 million. When we put it in a phrase, it puts those two words together. it should narrow down. And so now we see it went from 2.6 million to 18,000. That is very, very significant difference. And that's a good thing to keep track of, to know that when I search for this as a phrase, that I'm getting 18,000 results. Why does that matter? It's because when I use this phrase in my search, it doesn't matter what else I do, it's always going to be less. If you add anything else to it, a date limit, another term, anything, it's always going to be less because you're putting one more qualification on your search. So you may need to know, well, this is only 18,000. I may need to expand this out. Or this is 18,000. I can make this column a little bit more narrow. Now, also really quickly wanted to look at the idea of, let me just go down, take a quick look at these others. All right, so here's one, another one, distance education. Another one that I definitely would want to include. So I'm going to put that here. And I want to take this opportunity to explain a little bit about what a subject term is. So if you click in to the item on the title, then most of the items are going to include their subjects as a hyperlink. And so what that allows you to do is to click on any of these. So I could click on distance education. It's going to completely redo my search, and now it's only searching for what's called a subject of distance education. That is what this DE means, which it can be written in different ways, but just so you know. And so when a publisher, when this journal, International Journal of Educational Technology, when they publish an article, they're going to associate that article with standardized subjects. Like this is, the same way depth perception is written across any of their articles, if it's about that, or distance education. Now these are some extra ones, but you can see these are author supplied, which may be different than the standard ones. So a subject term is a great way to narrow your search. And it definitely does. It really can zero in on your topic. I typically will not use subject. It's not always best to go subject term for each of your columns because it can end up being too narrow. So you may want to keep that in mind. If your search all of a sudden yields nothing, very few results, then you may need to think about, well, maybe I shouldn't be using a subject term here. Now, one way to do that, I can just go up and eliminate that DE and research it. You see I'm at 115,000 for the subject term, and that close to doubles when I go into just the phrase and not the subject term. Now, jumping ahead a little bit, if I click on advanced search, let's say that I have explored these other columns. I'm not going to go through that because you understand the idea, but I'm going to do equity. And you see that this is good. It says equity in education. I don't have to write education, but it makes me think that equity is a good term. And then I'm going to do curriculum and instruction. All right, and now I'm going to search these all together. So remember, we were at 300,000. When I added these in, it immediately brought us down to 9,400. All right, so you can see how this went down. And so now that's a pretty good, start to our search. And of course, the purpose of this is that you may want to try some variations. Don't get stuck and think this is the best way to search, because it may very well be that web-based instruction could yield some interesting results. So I may want to come in here and search web-based instruction. So now I have a narrower search, but I have a variation in my results that I may not have seen otherwise. So you really want to keep that in mind. So that's just a quick overview of what terminology, how you can look through different terminology and use that to get more relevant results. Thank you.